Everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bob's Garage. I was working, I have behind me a car carrier that I keep one of my cars in, and I've been noticing the lift gate or the tailgate has been getting hard to open and close. So anyways, start looking at this, and it's not a very good design. You've got a pin or a piece, I think it's about a 3/4 inch pipe, and you've got this is the other part of the hinge that goes to the door. This part's welded, these two parts are welded to the C channel behind, and this part's the frame, and then it's a 5/8 bolt in between. On either end it's been plug weld, so that means this is the pivoting part here. The pin remains fixed, and this outer pipe rotates on there. So anyways, not a great design because there's no provision for lubrication. So I started to hear a creaking noise, and when I opened it the last time, the hinge snapped off. Actually, after opening and closing 2 times, it snapped off. It was basically half on, held by this lip. So I've cut off the centerpiece and trying to do something about this now. So once I got the hinge off, I had to use pretty much everything I had. I started off, pipe wrenches trying to pull it apart. Then I started into a pneumatic hammer, trying to knock the pieces loose. And finally I broke out the hot wrench and slowly got all the pieces loose. So what I did was I cut off, let's see, sorry for the not so great work surface here, but just 1 second. I cut off the plug weld off the end, off either side, and you can see it just tore off. I thought maybe the sheet metal, it's not very thick, it's about a 1/16 or an 1/8 I should say, so it's not very thick, but I looked in behind, I undercoated it. The trailer has actually never been used, and it's only ever been used for storage. And like I said, this is the center part. This one got the heat, and the pin's just a little bit bent now and terribly corroded. So it's really poor design, because I said this would have been plug weld at the end. I'd put this back in, but I probably won't get it back out again. Plug weld in the end, this part plug weld in the end, and then this part is pivoting back and forth. So yeah, again, with nothing in the way of even a grease fitting, is a real pain. So I'm gonna see if I can reuse the parts. Frankly, it's so simple. The clearances, I'm sure I can, because I'm probably gonna be back into this. But I'm gonna also make this a little bit better. I'm gonna drill and tap this part, which would become the hinge, the only piece that rotates. I'm gonna drill and tap and put a grease fitting on that, so that I can actually lubricate it every now and then. And I'm going to do that for all the other ones as well. So I'm not going to be bringing a whole lot of detail in this video, because obviously it's really straightforward, but I might show some of the steps of welding them back together and drilling and tapping for the grease fitting. Anyways, small little project, but a real pain. It probably took an hour to get this thing apart, just because it was so badly corroded, and I don't want to go through that again. Anyways, I'll bring you back when I've got things cleaned up, and I'm going to be using a 1/8 backer plate as well when I go to weld that back in. Okay, I decided just to leave the cross table I had on for doing some previous work. You can see one of my other videos, I'm sharpening chipper blades. Anyways, this is just sort of not set up very good, but I don't want to damage my jaws, so I'm just going to use that to square up and drill the pipe here for the fitting, just eyeballing it again and allowing it, put it in the position so when the door swings down that I don't knock off the fitting. Okay, now I just got to run a tap down for the Zerk fitting and the grease fitting. We should be all done. Perfect. Put it all this way because the garage is getting out of hand. And now what I'll do is I got to do a little bit of squaring up of the sheet metal for the trailer. Get in about 1/16 steel and grind it off, and I'll be able to start tacking it all together. So I'll show you where I've gone. I ground down the welds in the sheet metal so I get a clean surface. Take this off. Just got it test fitted here. Well, that's working well. So what I did is I just put in some 3/32 battery's almost dead here, so 3/32 backer plate. And I use that to flatten all this metal out, because the twisting action of the seized hinge tore this out and bent in a bunch of places. So I use that 360 material to flatten out the C-channel. Did that in both places here. And now what I'm doing is using that to keep everything square. And as you saw putting it in, you know, see there's the cleaning I've done all the way around there for the weld, using another set of clamps to hold all this flush. And I can't hold it single-handed, but I'll use that to keep the alignment there and get a good square surface. I'll take the backer off once I get some tacks in so I don't weld it all together. And I think I'll bring you back. I don't think I'll bother to put time lapse on there, just pretty straightforward. Well, it's all welded up. I won't get you too close because my welds are pretty bad. Just couldn't get them to lay flat, but I think that's just because I got lazy and didn't clean up the metal as much as I should. I'm been greased, and I put a layer of paint on to hide all the bad welds. Now all that's remaining is to go and drill and tap each one of these other 3 hinges for reserve fitting. So unfortunately I don't have a bottom tap, so that means I got to drill deeper, which means I'm going to be going into the pin. But I'm not too terribly worried about that. I'm centered. It's secured in either end, so it's no real twisting force or shear. The shear's right at the edge of the hinge, and I don't really cut this all apart and take it just to put the drill in. So I marked off the depth of the tap where I'm going to get into good threads. It's fairly deep, and see how that goes. This could take a bit, so I'm going to swing into time lapse. So I'm just trying to go through the cross section. You could actually see where the rust came out when I went through the outer part of the hinge. It's got to be a bit careful with this. It's a thin tap. Break to chip every now and then. And you got to feel for the resistance to know when I'm getting to the bottom. That feels about it. Thread in one of the bleed fittings, and this is shallow enough that it looks like it's not going to interfere with the hinge at all, but if it becomes a problem, I can grind down the bottom of it a little bit. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned 730, so it was a 1/4 28. yeah, 1/4 28, 7/32 drill bit to tap it down. So this, a little bit difficult getting the grease in these, understandable. Probably take a little bit of heat. Oh, there it goes. I can feel something going now. There you can see grease coming out the side there now.
Go ahead. That'll do it. Ready? Ready, sit.
There you can see some grease coming out there now. These two were not going too well, so I opened the door a little bit just to get a bit of movement. And there, I got some coming out here now. So that's great. Got grease in all the hinges. So a simple repair, though not, like I said, not my best work, and a very simple improvement to the hinge design to make it greaseable. And I got grease out of every one of the joints now. And placement was kind of important here. Had to make sure, because of the rotation, that it won't knock off the grease fitting when it opens. So basically a little bit higher of the 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock position, and closer to 2 or 1:30, and that'll allow it to go fully open. So I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit different from what I normally do, but like I said, when I saw that, and the one hinge seizing because of rust and water getting in causing rust, I knew the rest would be not far behind. It's solid trailer. The trailer's really only ever been used for storage. It's 20 years old, but it's traveled across the country, but never really been used in the winter time at all. So anyways, worth preserving it, worth putting some effort into it. Anyways, if you like this type of content, put a comment in the video. Let me know. If you rather see some other things, just let me know. Thanks for watching.